Hello everyone. In the previous video, I showed you how to deploy a Spring Boot application into Google Cloud using Terraform. So the app is running in the URL. So here is the application. While deploying the application, I had to run some manual command like Terraform apply, Terraform plan, Docker push, Docker tag, and so on. So I want to show how to automate this process in this video. For this, I'm going to use GitHub Action. And yeah, then GitHub Action will execute all of this command for us. We are going to be only focusing on the code, and rest of the things will be done automatically for us. So for this, first thing first, we have to destroy our application that we created manually and recreate the application automatically from GitHub Action. So first thing first, Terraform destroy. This will destroy everything. Now that is destroyed, and if you go to the service, there is no service, there is no registry, everything is gone. We have to create a repository and in there upload our code. Here I mentioned what we need to do one by one, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. So like before, I have already written the folder config inside one-time config inside Terraform config. And in here, version same as before, and in the project setup, I added a bunch of information also similar to before. For example, the project ID, the project number, the region, and our repository. Here is the repository. We just need to add this part. And then first we need to enable some APIs. So we are going to use the workload identification, and this is going to authenticate and authorize our GitHub action to execute all of the command. So for that, we first need to enable some APIs. So these are the APIs we need, and then enable the service using this resource. Next, we need to add a identity pool and select the provider. So we are using GitHub for our action in this case. So that's why it's GitHub over here. These are predefined. We don't need to do anything over here. Just define it like so. Next, we are going to create a service account that is going to actually run this Terraform action. Next, we are going to add the role to this service account, editor, admin, and service account user. After that, we are going to allow GitHub to impersonate this service account so that it can run everything. Finally, we are going to create a bucket where we are going to store all the state file. So if you look into the previous Terraform file, here you will see these files are automatically generated when we ran the init and apply and everything. We don't want to pollute our local Terraform file and keep all the state file inside a GCP bucket. So that's why this bucket is created. Bucket name, location, and some attribute like how it is going to be destroyed and whatnot. And finally, give the service account we have created over here the admin access to create, update, and delete file in that bucket. So this is, again, we are going to go into this directory. So this is one-time process, as I mentioned previously. We have to do it one time, and after that, everything will be done from the GitHub action. So let's do that. Similar to before, from init, from plan, from apply. So with this, if we go to the workload identity pools, we'll see that new pool is created. And if we go to IAM, we'll see the new user. Here is the new user we created with the roles that is needed to deploy our application from GitHub Action. So with that, now we can start writing the GitHub action that's going to execute everything for us. Again, for that, you need to create a .github folder inside workflow folder and inside your GitHub action. So here I created this Terrafom deploy action. So one branch push master, this is going to run. Here we defined our project information. And in here, currently it's not going to run. In here, first we're going to create a job called Terraform, define where it is going to run. And here we are defining which folder have our Terraform files. Next, we are going to use this Google GitHub action. Here we mention the project number as defined over here. And the pool that we just created and the service account we have over here. We are not going to run this initially. We're just going to check whether it is working or not. So with that, we go to the Terraform folder. Yeah, delete all the generated file. Also in the main, we don't want to have the function initially enabled. Let's comment that out and comment everything. Push it to GitHub. Now we should see a new action executing. And it shows that it ran the Terraform init. So should we find that it is authenticated from the GitHub, we should be able to now run the Terraform init and everything. So let's uncomment the plan and apply. We apply. Need to do this so that we don't need to manually say yes. With that, let's comment. Push it. Again, as you can see, this GitHub action is doing everything for us that we did previously manually. This init, plan, and apply. So now if we go back to the repositories and refresh, like before we have our repository, we want to push our image to this repository. So for that, I have created another GitHub action. That is this one here, like the other one. It is similar. We have to have the same thing over here. And we uncomment that, our action will run and everything is pretty same. Here we are seeing on push to master or pull request, yeah, execute this. So this is the job name, similar to before permission. And here this is authenticating everything for the project. It's setting up the Docker. Yeah. Then it is setting up the JDK. So we are using 21. So that's why it's 21 over here. And giving the permission and then creating the image. So with the image name. And finally, we are pushing this image to the artifact registry. With that, it is enabled. Now we can push this new GitHub action. Right. Both actions should run and should pass. The build and push, and this one should not do anything as we don't have any new resource. As you can see, no changes. That is the expected behavior. Action complete, and we should have the image now. Next, let's enable the final part, which is the cloud function that's going to run. And in the Terraform, we also need to pass the environment variable. So this is going to replace the app image tag with the tag created by the previous this action. So what we want to do is first make sure this action is running and then run this action. So to do that, we have to define some information, which is over here. So this time we are going to comment this out, and we are going to say when this one is finished, run this one. So that's how we are saying it. So workflow run, and the workflow, what is the workflow? So this is the workflow name. So this name has to be exactly the same. And when it is completed, execute this guy. That's what we are saying, so that we get the SHA from here and pass it over here. All right, so let's do the commit, push. This time we'll see one action only. Once this action done, another action should be executing that creates and starts the cloud run with this new image. While this is happening, if we go into the artifact registry, we should see a new image. This is the new image. The function is creating, and it's going to run from the image that we just created. We can go into services and see it is already starting. It is started. Now we can go to this, go to the URL again, and see our application like before. So that's how easy it is to set up the application. All you need to do now is focus on your actual code. You don't need to touch these Terraform things anymore. Yeah, just change your code. For example, let's change it to 2. Commit this code and push it to GitHub. Similar to before, it's going to execute the build and push to the artifact registry. Once push is done, like before, it will execute the Terraform part, which is just going to restart the Cloud Run service. Now, if you go to your app and refresh, you should see the Hello World too. That's it. That's what I wanted to show you in this video. I hope you liked it. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comment below. I will upload this code into GitHub, which is already in the GitHub here. And yeah, post the link in the video description. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.